if someone is a very convincing and practiced deceiver, then they can deceive the Parole Board. The Parole Board are not infallible. In January 2012, Usman Khan pleaded guilty to and was convicted of preparing an act of terrorism. He was involved with a group in Stoke, and they were seeking to set up a madrasa, that's a school in Kashmir, as a front for training terrorists. Now, they weren't planning an immediate attack in the UK, but they were involved with a group in London planning to bomb the London Stock Exchange.
They pleaded guilty to charges of preparatory offences, offences of preparing terrorism. The belief was that the plot had the capacity to work.
What happened to Usman Khan is that he was serving this prison sentence, detention for public protection, but in 2012 the government abolished them, but they weren't retrospective, so his remained in place. But he went to the Court of Appeal and they quashed that sentence and they replaced it with what's known as an extended sentence. So between 2008 and 2012, even dangerous prisoners like Usman Khan, they were automatically released at the halfway stage, on licence but released without a risk assessment by the Parole Board. That's what the whole row is about. The automatic release provisions was really brought in because we had a big problem of prison overcrowding, in part because prisoners who'd been given what were known as IPPs were never getting out of prison. 6,000 plus of them were clogging up the prison estate, and something had to be done. But what happened was that automatic release was applied to even dangerous prisoners who were on what's known as extended sentences, like Usman Khan.
As for your question about how many others there are probably about 74.
Should we be concerned about the other 74 people convicted of terrorism offences who've been released? Well, the government is concerned about that, and they've said that there is an immediate and urgent risk assessment of those people taking place. A lot of people have said that he should have been risk assessed by the Parole Board before he was released. The fact is that couldn't happen under the law at the time. The Parole Board had been stripped out of the system. But I have to say that, even with the Parole Board, if someone is a very convincing and practiced deceiver, then they can deceive the Parole Board. The Parole Board are not infallible.
People know I know terrorists.
Systems around the world have been sidestepped, hoodwinked by very practiced, very convincing deceivers, and that's always going to be a threat.